Hello, it's 10 o'clock on August 15th, 2021, and welcome to the weather update. And yeah, I finally did get to see some pines today. It was a little hot out there, I'm not going to lie. It was definitely a lot better than it's been, but I went to Pine Lawn. I was there for maybe an hour, and when I was done, I felt like I was going to faint. That's how hot it was. That's how hot I felt anyway. So you can see some of these beautiful pines. I'll show you some of them here. They got the check out there. Big beauties. But it was hot. It was definitely, you definitely were feeling the heat there. And it felt like everybody was in the mid 80s. So we're gonna look at some of these temperatures in a minute. Just looking at some. I did not take a video, so you'll just have these pictures. And then that's beautiful sky that we had with the ultracumulus coming in a little later on. It was some serious around in the morning, and then in the afternoon it kind of got better with the sky. Let's go look at the MODIS satellite, and you'll see that mostly clear sky and some of that ultracumulus. You can see stall front over here, but it was far enough south that we were able to get a decent amount of sunshine today, which is good news. Right now, temperatures, well, it is in the mid. We got low 70s outside right now, so it has cooled down. However, in the alley, I got close to 80 degrees still. So yeah, and on the hot block here, but. Where's the yow? Yow, I hate this place. It's exactly the way I feel. But anyway, you can see temperatures are in the low 70s. The winds did shift to the southeast a little on in the afternoon. Look at that, 64 in West Hampton. Maybe we'll get some radiational cooling. You see dew points in the low 60s, some mid 60s dew points as well. LaGuardia 79, so it's like LaGuardia, my alley. 79, 54. I actually do have a thermometer out there, so I'm looking at the temperature on it, and that's what it says. 71 in Toms River. A lot more humid there, though. Dew point 67, 69 in Lakehurst, but at least it cools down there. So let's go and look at what our high temperatures were today, because it felt like we got into the mid 80s today. It's just still kind of hot for me. Let's see what we got here. Yep. 84 for a high in Carl Place, 83 for a high in Farmingdale, 82 at Islip, 82 at Shirley, 82 at West Hampton, and 84 at LaGuardia, 82 at JFK. A little cooler because there was a sea breeze eventually to develop on the South Shore, of course, which I didn't feel very much of when I was in Farmingdale. I took the S1 and I went to Amityville. And it was a lot cooler in Amityville, a lot more comfortable with the breeze. But I was dying in Farmingdale; it was horrible. Let's see, 81 in downtown Toms River, 85 at Lakehurst, so a little warmer inland. So we're gonna go look at the way some of the observations here, particularly Farmingdale, because I'm curious about why I felt so brutal. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's look at some of these temperatures. So let's see. 82 with a dew point of 55 should not be that bad. 77 with a dew point of 58, and the temperatures did drop later on. I was there 83, dew point 58, but you could see barely any wind. I think that's part of the issue. No wind. And you can see we had north winds, and then they shifted to the south, and then the sea breeze came in and it got better. But when it was still out there, just I gotta tell you, I don't do well once it's over 80. I have problems. I'm a freaking Orion 7 next gen. That's why I am, sadly. And at least that's what I run like in the summertime. So we can look at Islip as well. Well, we'll look at some of the underground sites instead as well. You can see 72, dew point 61. Let's go back to Islip. Let me look at that and see how they watch those dew points. So you can see the dew points not as low as I was expecting. I thought we were going to have dew points in the upper 40s and low 50s. Still felt a little humidity out there, too. I don't know why they were reporting mostly cloudy all day. It certainly wasn't mostly cloudy all day. We'll go ahead and also look at Shirley as well. So Shirley, you can see 83. You can see when the sea breeze came in, it went from 82 to 77. But the dew points were not that low today. Not as we thought dew points, when we were looking at the models, we thought the dew points were going to be in the upper 40s and low 50s, but we were more like upper 50s and low 60s. So that would make sense to why I was just overheating so badly out there. It's no fun. I've always been heat sensitive my whole life, and it's not going to change. That's for sure. So we'll go to the underground site now, and let's go look at some of the current observations. And again, I think that you're going to definitely get some radiational cooling in the Pine Barrens here. I already see 60s. Probably might even get to the 50s, maybe. But looking at Carl Place, which happens to be missing today, so I guess we can't use Carl Place. But we will look at North Patchogue. I guess we'll see how hot it was over there in North Patchogue. So he's got 68. All right. Meanwhile, it's 78 in my alley. The alley from hell. Yow! This whole area is just an oven. So he got up to 84.6. So that's what I mean. And the dew points generally, you can see low 60s dew points. Not that dry air that we were expecting. So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot better than it's been, but is it a great day for a hike in the Pine Barrens? Not for me. Not cool enough. No, I'm sorry. It's a good day for a short little stroll around the park, maybe on the South Shore where there's a breeze, but walking around in the middle of the island in the Pine Barrens in mid-80s and the sun beating down you and no breeze and dew points not that low, it wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. We'll pick a spot that's near where I was walking, near Pine Lawn. There is no station actually in Pine Lawn per se, unfortunately. We'll pick this one here. Lone Pine Poultry Farm. How about that? Unfortunately, their dew point thing is malfunctioning. So they were around, weren't that hot actually, only 80. The dew point was 61, 62. So the dew point's not that low, as you can see. If you were on the South Shore, like when I went to Amityville, it was so much cooler there. Like, yeah, right here. It was probably only in the 70s, probably most of the day. When it probably hit the 80s and then dropped to the 70s, probably after 3 o'clock, I bet. Let's see. So 3 o'clock, and then boom, yeah, it dropped. There's the sea breeze. It didn't really kick in until 4 or 5 o'clock, but there it is. Clearly see it. So you can see where the sea breeze was, at least. So let's talk about the tropics now. We've got a number of things that are getting going here. We have Tropical Storm Fred. We have Grace, which is now weakened to a depression. And then we have this area. 90% chance of cyclone formation. So this is good. This now has a good chance. This is going to be a weak tropical depression, and so we're going to have to watch this. This could affect Bermuda. So I guess we'll start with Fred, being that that's the one that's the most imminent threat right now to land. And we'll go to the latest public advisory on Fred. Tropical Storm Fred. As of 7 p.m., its location, 27.1 north, 85.7 west, about 205 miles west-southwest of Tampa, Florida, about 215 miles south of Panama City, Florida. Maximum sustained winds, 45 miles an hour, moving north-northwest at 10 miles an hour, and the minimum sunspot pressure, 1,000 millibars, or 29.53 inches. And there are storm surge warnings and tropical storm warnings up for this as well. Let's look at the map, and you will see here are the tropical storm warnings here in effect, and it looks like it's the Florida Panhandle that's pretty much being affected by this. And so this is where the storm is now going to make landfall. We have a pretty good idea now where it's going to go. Originally, it looked like it was going to go further west, but now it looks like it is on track to hit the Florida Panhandle. And we're going to now look at it on Tropical Tidbits and look at some satellite imagery. We start with Fred. Here is the satellite imagery of Fred. And we will look at Fred also on the visible as well, on the MODIS satellite that we have. And you can really see the convection starting to fire up. And this is a sign that this storm is definitely in a strengthening phase. And while it's not a hurricane, when a storm makes landfall in a strengthening phase, it has a tendency to be more damaging. And it definitely is strengthening. All right. And when we look at the models, we already know where it's going to go. So, but I want to look at the strength models because this is where a lot of the models seem to strengthen it up to maybe 50 miles an hour, maybe even as much as 60. all right, before it makes a landfall and weakens. So we're going to have to see about that. It's not going to be a terrible, huge hurricane, but it's still going to be a storm that's going to probably cause power outages and some flooding for that area. So we have Tropical Storm Fred, and then we've got Grace. So now we've got to go and look at Grace. All right. And here we go, looking at Grace. And Grace looks a lot more disorganized because, again, it interacted with the land, and now it's kind of a mess and quite disorganized again. The same thing happened to Fred, but then Fred got itself together. But you can still see pretty strong convections going on around it. So once it gets away from the land, it may strengthen it again. And if we look at Grace, the track for Grace takes a much different track and just stays south and actually could make a landfall in the Yucatan or the Gulf Coast of Mexico and possibly Texas. This is a pretty large area here, but it's not going to take the same track as Fred because of the upper air and the high, and we'll explain that all. And this is the intensity guidance, and you can see most of them keep it as a tropical storm, but some of them bring it up to a hurricane. So again, once it gets out over the Gulf and away from these land masses, it could strengthen again. If we look at the official track of Grace, you can see this is the official track, and it keeps it as a weak depression, but then once it gets out over the Gulf, it could strengthen again. And that's something that will have to be watched. And again, that track could change. We are ways out when it comes to Tropical Storm Grace. And then we've got the next thing. So we Tropical Storm Fred. Grace is just a depression, so I'm not going to read the advisory on that, but I am interested in this. And this is going to be the next storm that will probably form right here. And it looks very small compared to Fred and Grace. So let's go and look at this area, which I guess is 16W, or is it 96L? Let's see. Is this 16W? No, that's not it. All right, this is probably 96L. It's 96L. Invest 96L. All right, so here you go. Very compact, but you could see that it is definitely trying to get itself together and form something. You can see it's actually moving due south. There's Bermuda right here. But here it is. So we're going to have to watch that one, too, as well. And if we look at the models on this, it's not going to affect us. It's going to stay out to sea, but it could affect Bermuda. A few of them, though, have it going west toward land. But that's less likely at this point. Again, we'll have to look at the models, and we'll have to see how that's all going to work when we go into the models and see what's going to be happening. So let's go to the MODIS first of all, so we can take a look at these storms. And you'll see here's Invest 96L, here's Fred, and here's Grace. There's something over here too. That looks like something. So yeah, we got a number of things going here. And then you can see, of course, all the smoke, of course. We now have fires in Utah, in addition to California. There's been the news. So here's all the smoke again. We're not dealing with too much of that smoke. We're getting a break. Amazingly, I don't know how much longer this break from the smoke is going to last. But anyway, let's get to the models now, and we'll go to the models. And we will look at the GFS. And I guess we're going to start with the GFS. Yeah, this is a good enough view here. Well, I want to look at the southeast here, so let's get a closer look at Fred. So here's Fred right here, about to make landfall. It's going to be making landfall in the Florida Panhandle. You can see, look at how it's going to strengthen right before it makes landfall. This is a concern. GFS is indicating that, and I think several other models are indicating that too. And you can see it's going to make that landfall tomorrow afternoon in the Panhandle of Florida. And then it's going to work its way inland. So this is, you can see it kind of just wraps it up here. And if we look at the wind, that means that the wind will also pick up as it tightens. Look at that. So yeah, this could become I think 50 to 60 mile an hour. I don't think it makes it to hurricane, But and you can see it's relatively compact too. But I think this will make it up to a pretty strong tropical storm when it makes landfall here. And then once it moves in, it will weaken. All right, so that's the GFS. The other issue is the rainfall that it's going to bring. So if we look at the total accumulated precip, it will bring a lot of rainfall as well, probably 3+ inch amounts were in the area. It makes landfall all the way up into parts of Georgia and possibly western South Carolina. Actually, no, yeah, western South Carolina and maybe western North Carolina too, a little bit. You can see all the rain that it is going to produce here. I want to look at some other models though. We're going to look at the NAM 12 as well, which I'm sure I have to go to the 18Z for that because I don't have enough of the 0Z in. So we're going to look at the rainfall from the NAM 12. Also, you can see also 3+ inches likely where this thing makes. And I think the rain is going to be the big thing with this storm. But I want to look at this with the NAM as well because I want to see if it tightens it up, and it does the same thing. So it tightens it up. So that's what I'm thinking, strong tropical storm when it makes that landfall right over there on the Florida Panhandle. All right, and then of course you have the other storms that we have to worry about too. So we're going to go to a wider view and we'll look at all this on the GFS. All right, so what's going to happen here, we have this high here, this dry high. We're going to start seeing that move offshore tomorrow. And then we get into the moisture flow. And we might see some of the remnants, the moisture from Fred, possibly working into our area Wednesday and maybe Thursday too. And then we're going to be dealing with that unsettled pattern that we're all so familiar with here, stall front syndrome. You can see it does not showing any storms making a landfall over the country, but what it does show is continued, not really anything changing, no real strong cold fronts coming through. It's the same thing that we've been dealing with here, a humid pattern. When you look at the upper air pattern, you'll see the jet stream is just way up there, and it's not really coming down. You see a little trough there in the northwest, but generally not really any real major dips in the jet stream. And again, the jet stream barely is even visible on here. All right, if we pull out, we look at the North American view here, you'll see that the jet stream is barely even visible here. So this is the jet stream. What a mess. What a mess this jet stream is. And that's all because of climate change. As I've explained to you, the jet stream's fueled, and I've just had to tell you a million times, and this is what most other climate scientists say, is as the Arctic warms, you have less of a difference between the poles and the equator. The difference in temperature between the poles and the equator is what fuels the jet stream. So when you have less of a difference, you have a weaker, wavier, less defined jet stream. And that's exactly what you're seeing, which means weather gets stuck. It doesn't, we don't get cold fronts through. The flow almost becomes monsoonal in a way, so to speak. So let's go take a closer look at our area. As a result, you know what we're going to be dealing with. Actually, let me go pull this back out to the CONUS again to show you the upper air as well. So you can see that reflection of Fred right there. And then you see this ridge just building again in the east. You have a little trough here in the upper, the same old thing again with the troughs in the northern plains. That's the only area that seems to get them. And then the rest of us is just dealing with a ridge. You see the ridge in the east. However, you do see a little more of a trough in the west. Now, this could help maybe bring some rain at least to the west. Will it bring some rain? Well, let's look at the total accumulated precipitation. And no, it doesn't. Unfortunately, the west still remains bone dry. We're the ones that we're going to be dealing with a lot of precipitation as we deal with the humidity continuing here. And this very humid summer, this is the way the summers have been lately, just very, very humid. The humidity is constantly with us because we can't get cold fronts through. And we're under the influence of this Atlantic ridge. And you'll see we will once again be under the influence of that Atlantic ridge. You can see right through the period, there is no relief in the humidity at all. We're right through the end of the period, we are going to be dealing with humidity. The driest air we have now is the only dry air we're going to get. We're going to be right back into the humidity, and it's not going anywhere. Again, it's the same old thing again that we're dealing with here. This tropical flow that we have over the whole east of the Rockies. It's completely nuts. And so you're going to have the humidity, and you're going to have the heat too. Let's go to the temperature anomaly chart here. As we head into, and you can see the west is still hot too as well. Because again, there's no jet stream here. So You can see we're not really that hot. We're just going to be humid, though. Things might start heating up. I think toward next weekend we'll start seeing that above normal. Those above normal temperatures get into our area next week. But again, just a terrible, terrible pattern. A terrible pattern for all of us here. Terrible, terrible pattern. And I want to now go to the... we'll go to a more local view now. And we'll take a look at the HRRR, and we'll take a look and see when our next chance of precipitation is. Go to the 0Z run, and we'll start that up. So tomorrow should be dry, but we'll start seeing the rain chances start getting into our area on Tuesday. Chance of showers and thunderstorms. So start seeing some more of this humidity get into the picture here, and we're going to be dealing with that, especially as we get into Wednesday. Go to the NAM 12 here, and I gotta go to the 18Z. See if this takes us to Wednesday or not. So one more dry day, and we'll start seeing some chances on Tuesday, but especially Wednesday and Thursday, especially when we see that moisture from Fred possibly work right up the coast into our area, because there's no jet stream to move it out of the way. It's just going to go right up the coast. So let's now go back to the HRRR, and I'll look at the temperatures as we head into tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to start with the dew points, and then we'll go to the temperatures. So the humidity will start rising tomorrow. I think we'll have one more day, and like I said, it's not really going to be all that dry. This really underdid the humidity today, this model, so I think we'll have dew points in the low 60s. Won't be terribly humid, but you'll definitely feel a little humidity out there. Southeast winds to south winds will keep the temperatures lower, and we keep those south to southeast winds, but you can see, look at the dew points really starting to rise as we get into Tuesday, especially. And if we look at the temperatures, you will see that Tuesday, it won't be that hot because of the cloud cover and because of the onshore flow. Tomorrow, a similar thing. Although, I think we'll have a little more sun tomorrow than we will on Tuesday. Now we go to the GFS, and we move this along. So here's the GFS for tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Move this back to Wednesday. You can see, with all that moisture around the cloud cover, the temperatures aren't going to be that high. You can see the heat, though, starting to get closer to the area, but we'll just be dealing with humidity, not high temperatures. And same thing for the weekend. It looks like it's not even heating things up that much. Monday, and it's next week that we start seeing that heat. The trying to keep indicating, but it's very fickle. This model is constantly changing with the heat every day, whether one time it'll have it hot, and the next time it won't have it hot, because it's all about the wind direction, the cloud cover, various, setups in the atmosphere. I think a lot of it has to do with Fred and what happens with Fred. So, let's go look at the dew points, because you see we're not going to get any relief from these dew points. You see that. Here's your humidity. But you see, if you look at the wind direction, you'll see it's mostly from the south. You don't really have any dreaded west winds, so that's why it won't get that hot. And you can see these fronts just don't make it through. So we're under that ridge. Here comes a front that's trying to make it through. That's going to wind up stalling possibly to the north. So it's just never-ending humidity, basically, is what we're going to be dealing with. And, of course, with humidity comes plenty of clouds, which, we'll be dealing with some clouds tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Seriously, I don't know when the next sunny day is going to be. So I don't know when. Hopefully you got a chance to enjoy the sunshine today, because there'll be a lot of clouds around once again. I can go to the NAM 3 as well. You can look at the 18Z on that. And you'll see, again, plenty of clouds. I mean, there'll be some sun and clouds. Say partly sunny tomorrow. Tomorrow's really the last somewhat decent day, and then we're going to be dealing with a lot more clouds on Tuesday. And those clouds are going to be with us for a while as we're dealing with this constant tropical flow that we're going to be dealing with here. I'll look at the RGM too. See the same damn thing. So here you go. So high clouds around tomorrow, high and mid-level clouds, and then more of an overcast sky as you get into Tuesday and Wednesday, and then with those rain chances, you can see the remnants of Fred here, and it's just a mess because, again, there's no jet stream. There's no jet stream, folks. Shouldn't you be alarmed? Where's the jet stream? It's a weak little nothing that's north of the border. I never ever remember seeing this. This is what's going on. So let's go to the. I think I went through all the models already. All right, so you get the idea of what we're going to be dealing with. And we'll be dealing with those chances of showers. If I go back to GFS, show you the rain, you'll see we're going to be dealing with chances. So that again, we're getting all the rain. They need the rain out west. They're not getting it. It's just the same old story again. It's just the same old story, the same old song and dance that we dealt with so many times already that we're all sick of. So let's go and look at the. Let me go look at something here. I want to look at the ice situation. Here, we'll go look at the ice situation, and then I want to show you what's going on over Siberia because. All right, this is what we have here. So it's not miraculously we're not at the lowest anymore for sea ice, which is good. You still see a lot of thin ice, but I don't think that we'll get to that minimum this year, fortunately. All right, because the thing is the way the jet stream is, it's a kind of it's kind of in a way preserving because there's a lot more cloud cover over there, and the smoke may be doing something. I don't know. We're just getting lucky because that blue ocean event is going to be happening. Thank God it's not happening this year, but it's going to happen. All right, let me go to the MODIS satellite, and I'll show you all the smoke from... Because there is an article about these Siberian fires, all right? And they are producing so much... and these are bigger than all the fires combined. So if I Google Siberia wildfires, you see there's a video there. And I'm going to actually link that in. So this is Siberia wildfires, now bigger than all fires in the world combined. So this is part of the climate emergency that we are in. And it continues to get worse. Even though we have not lost that much sea ice in the Arctic as I feared, what we are losing is a lot of ice in Greenland. And you can see our large melt events. And this is what really raises the sea level. So we did lose a lot of ice in Greenland, which is very concerning here. And this shows you all the surface melt here on these maps, and again, almost except for maybe 1/3 of it has been affected by ice melt, and this is very, very bad. And again, we've never seen this amount of melting before in Greenland, so this is very concerning for sure. So I think we'll go back to the Ventus sky here, and we'll look at this. And we'll bring this into tomorrow here, and we'll show you tomorrow's weather. Again, you can see that south to southeasterly flow. So fortunately, that will keep the temperatures down. It will be probably cooler tomorrow than today, but the humidity will be higher than it was today. You can see those dew points are going to be in the upper 50s and more like low 60s because this really underdid the dew points. I honestly think it really did underdo the dew points. In fact, I could change the model on this. This does do GFS. So, yeah, I think the GFS is going to be a little more accurate. We'll have dew points in the low 60s. It won't be terrible because once we go to Tuesday, those dew points are going to get a lot higher. You can see that humid air right off. We will be back with dew points in the 70s by Wednesday, especially as we get that tropical air from Fred in here again. I know. This is like the tropics. We are living in the tropics now. The whole East Coast has become tropical. Because, again, there's nothing... It's basically all dominated by this huge ridge here. Here you go. I'm going to pull this all out here, and you can see the humidity. And you just have this huge ridge. That's not what I want. Where is... Where's my paint extension? The paint extension is gone. That sucks. It seems to have disappeared. Oh, well. But anyway, it's this... You're under this whole ridge right here. You see this whole ridge here. I don't know where the extensions went. Yeah, it seems like it's gone. I've lost my paint extension. That sucks. Alright, well, some reason it went away. I don't know why. But anyway, you can see this whole area here, this whole ridge. This just controlling the weather and the whole... it's crazy. And yeah, there's low humidity out in the west, but look at those temperatures. It's hot. Look at the heat that's actually... We're looking at the event. This is Wednesday, actually. So we're going to actually rewind this because they've had some pretty crazy heat out west. And I know we are looking at the GFS instead of the HRRR. I guess I could put this back to automatic if I want. I'm going to look at this for today. 2 o'clock today. And you can see the heat in the west that they're still dealing with. And the heat is going way up into Canada. It's just nuts. And it's all because you don't have a jet stream. There's no jet stream. The heat is just rising right up. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sort of see some relief. I'm trying to make it away, but we never see any of that relief. We're in that ridge. We just never see it. That ridge is just in control, and the dry air is just, you can't get into it. It's just, you're going to have to go way up to Canada. Way up, like into the Northwest Territories if you want relief. If you want really nice weather, that's where you got to go. Well, that's going to be it for this weather update. Take care, and thanks for watching.